you know that black bear can live a very long time? That it's potentially, oh, tongue-tied here. That's what's neat about going live is nothing cut here, nothing edited. All right, so did you know that it's potent? Oh my word! Anyway, potentially, did you know that a black bear from birth on through its life could potentially live to be as old as 30 years old? And the black bear biologist for the state of Maine, Randy Cross, in the 30 plus years of his research on researching and live trapping and researching and studying black bears, he has recorded bear that are as old as 10, 20, and the oldest black bear that Randy Cross has ever worked with in his life was 30 years old. And he retired, and all his colleagues continued the research and stuff. And I do believe that the bear died at 30 years old. It lived to be 30 before dying. And Clay Newcomb, the editor of the Black Bear Hunting magazine, and it's actually the only magazine dedicated solely to black bears, black bear biology, black bear hunting, black bear research. Again, all the cross, I think Clay Newcomb said in a podcast, in the world, the Bear Hunting magazine. Yeah, and Clay Newcomb, he's had Randy Cross as a guest on his podcast, and Clay Newcomb didn't know if the bear died at a bait site or died due to a car and bear collision or died of just natural causes in some way. But that's incredible that a black bear in the wild, and especially in the state of Maine, out of all places, can live to be 30 years old. And Clay Newcomb, he's one of my role models. I listen to his podcasts and read his articles all the time. And I'm subscribed, and I have a subscription to the Black Bear Hunting magazine and stuff. So I'm learning a lot about black bear. I'm dedicating a lot of my spare time and a lot of my life, in a sense, and I'm actually sacrificing a lot to really put myself out there to learn everything I possibly can about black bears. And what's really neat is Clay Newcomb had another biologist on his podcast, and it was a female biologist, and she's she did a lot of her research and has been doing a lot of research for the last 20 plus years. And this biologist also has been researching, studying, and learning a lot about black bears for a long time. 20 years is a long time. 30 years is like Randy Cross. 30 years of research with Randy Cross, that's a long time. But this other biologist that Clay Newcomb interviewed and stuff in a podcast and had on as a guest in his podcast, she has told Clay Newcomb that they age black bears by their teeth, by pulling a tooth and studying the root of the tooth and the tooth decay and wear and the markings on the teeth and stuff. But that's not actually that's not foolproof. Like Randy Cross actually told Clay Newcomb that that's not necessarily the best 100% best way to age black bears. So I mean, Randy Cross would live trap a bear and take blood samples and bone marrow samples and ear tags and put collars on some, tattoo the inner lips, inner cheeks and stuff on his study bears, and they would age the bear in other ways besides just pulling the teeth. But these biologists, so they all say that a real old bear will have their teeth worn down to the gum lines. And that's because black bears are munching on acorns the majority of their lives. They're eating tons of acorns and beech nuts and and other hard mast. But on the flip side of that, what about berries and lots of other like herbaceous vegetation that they love? They do consume a ton of that throughout their lives. Uh, like I mentioned in my last live stream, black bears' diets consist of 85, 90% solely vegetation, but also in the way of like berries and nuts and stuff like that. They love grasses and plantains and clovers and dandelions and also your bear, in addition to deer, a lot of them, your moose, deer, bear, all your animals that consume vegetation that whose diets are, you know, vegetation. The herbaceous, the broad-leaved, kind of broad-leaved, woody type, broadleaf flowering herbaceous vegetation is actually more important to the bear than just regular or just strict herbaceous plants. And that's not grasses. Grasses are herbaceous vegetation, but they're not broad-leaved. Anyways, yeah, I just had a brain freeze there. I forgot where I was going with that, so excuse me for that. So let's backtrack. We're talking about how old black bear can get. I was talking about teeth, and I was straying. That was me going off on tangent. That's the thing with a going live. I can't cut out those mess ups. I can't like raise my hand in those parts where I screwed up talking to the camera. Like on my regular mainstream up videos, my episodes I upload on my Spikes and Gills YouTube channel, they get edited. And where I mess up, I'll raise my hand. So that way when I'm editing, I can edit quickly. I can like go to that point and splice the video and then delete the mess up. Can't do that with a live stream. But you probably don't care about that. This is more relatable, and I mean, humans are not perfect, so I'm not gonna be perfect in this live stream. But let's go back to where I strayed wicked, and I actually got a brain freeze and forgot exactly what I was wanting to say. But teeth now, aging bear by their teeth and stuff, and the teeth roots and things. The biologist that Clay Newcomb had as guests on his podcast, they talk of the wearing of the teeth and how bear, as they're living through their lives, they're consuming acorns and nuts. A lot of what they eat, and obviously dead carrion, like they're opportunistic, herbivore, omnivore. Sorry, herbivore is plant only. They're omnivores in that they eat meat and plant matter. So even when eating meat, consuming a dead animal, there's bone and stuff, and meat and steak meat in itself is tough, hard on the teeth and gums. So your nuts, acorns, beech nuts, other nuts, and seeds that are in the wild, and your dead animals with the bone and tough meat, all that's wearing down the teeth and the gums of these bear. So the older the bear, naturally the more grinded down and worn down their teeth are. And I hearing about that on the podcast, I firmly believe that a bear I shot 2 years ago was extremely old. She was a sow. 2.5 hours before she come into my bait site, a sow with a cub visited, and I filmed them and took tons of photo and video of them. Had fun watching them for like nearly an hour and a half. The cub was very interested in my blind and where I was sitting. It sensed something was amiss there with my blind. I was sitting on the ground in a pop-up blind about 20 yards from the bait, and that cub come in real close. And I got a really cool video and snapshots and stuff of this cub getting within only like 5-6 steps of my blind. And its mother, the sow, snapped a twig or stick or something where she was feeding, and it startled the cub, and the cub jumped up on the trunk of the tree right in front of my blind. And that made for an awesome video. And so the sow and cub left, and an hour after, well, it would be like probably 2 hours after they left my bait, a big, older looking bear come in very cautiously. To bait this, and I was looking hard for cubs. I was verifying that this bear was supposedly not a sow. I believed it to have been a boar. It had a big, blocky head. Its ears were small in context to its head. It didn't have the Mickey Mouse looking ears. And general rule of thumb is when aging black bear, if their ears are close together and appear very large, that's a very young adolescent yearling type black bear. And then on the flip side of that, if the ears are spread apart more and appear smaller on their head, that head's blockier, wider, and there may be even somewhat of a crease right here starting to form on their head. Obviously, that's an older bear and a good bear for you, bear hunter, to shoot. So then this was that type of bear. Its ears seemed small. It had a long, big, wide snout, big, blocky looking head. It stood tall and lengthy, and I shoot this bear. This bear was a sow. She had no cub, so what they call a dry sow. Black bear sows, when they get really old, there's a chance that they can no longer have cubs, similar to like human females going through menopause and not being able to ever get pregnant again. A similar thing can happen in black bear. This female biologist, obviously her name skips my mind. This female biologist that Clay Newcomb had on his podcast, the Bear Hunting Magazine podcast, she was talking about a bear that she's been studying and watching for like 20 years. It was a 20-year-old sow. It's an old bear. And she was telling him how on her 20th birthday, in that 20th year, she never had a cub or cubs. She didn't get pregnant. And that kind of made her sad, and her colleagues made them sad. So, and they're hoping, cross their fingers, that the fall at 21 years old, she'd have cubs again. But and I don't know if this sow ever did, because I didn't hear of any follow-up or anything to that. But she did say, this biologist was saying, that black bear sows can become barren and dry, become a dry sow later in life. So I believe that this sow that I shot at my bait was a dry sow. And man, when I opened her mouth, looked at them teeth, I was curious about the age of this bear. I was trying to make a general estimation of its age, just whatever, from general knowledge and stuff I've heard. And I looked, and she had hardly any teeth. Her teeth were worn down to like the gum lines. I was seeing mostly gum and hardly any teeth. I believe this sow that I shot like a couple years ago to be extremely old. 15, I believed her to be 15 plus years old, 15, 16, 20, maybe as old as 20 or even older. And maybe possibly only 10 or, 10 years old. I just believe it to be a really old bear. And I got her frozen in the freezer. I'm going to do the taxidermy mount on her myself. I'm learning taxidermy, do my own taxidermy mount. I've mounted moose, bear, and deer now, and I did a full life-size tan of a life-size bobcat. I got it tanned, preserved, do my own tanning. I'm going to be doing a life-size mount of a bobcat, and I've got that sow to mount, and then my last year's bear, my 240 plus pound trophy bear I shot last year. That was dressed weight, by the way, the bear I got last year. And I believe him to have been upwards of 280 to 290 pounds live weight, close to a 300-pound live weight bear. That's a extremely large black bear for the state of Maine. So I got him to mount. So, yeah, how neat is that? That black bear can potentially live to be that old. And so I've been going live here for I usually am long-winded. I usually go 20 minutes in these live streams, so it's only been like 15 minutes. So I hope that you're watching this and have a lot of questions. King George. Nice ride. Thanks, King George. Who else on it? Anyone have any questions about black bears? While I'm thinking, brainstorm here of other things to talk about, I have a lot of other really cool, interesting facts about black bears. I shared some in the last live stream, and I mentioned in the last live stream, I'm going to mention it here also, that I don't want to spill the beans on all the facts and all the things I've learned through the years about black bears in this one live stream. I want to save some knowledge for next Monday's live stream. And it's going to be my plan and my goal, hopefully, to go live every Monday night. And my mainstream episodes, this next series of string of videos going to be uploaded on my channel, Spikes and Gills, are going to be about black bear biology, black bear biology, ecology, black bears, just physiology, black bears in general, and black bear facts. And also they're going to be about black bear hunting and black bear hunting tips and tactics and things that I've learned along the way in hunting black bears. And I'm going to be sharing stuff about the Western Black Bear Foundation and other black bear foundations and things, and obviously going to be talking about and sharing in the next videos to come on my channel, Spikes and Gills, the current events and things happening around black bear, things going on with them now, and studies and research going on about black bear now. Currently, that's going to come in the future episodes and live streams and stuff down the road. So if you love black bear like I do, if you're starting out learning about black bear and maybe you've just shot one or two or just a handful of black bear and still in the learning phase, I've got to correct myself here. We're all in the learning phase. We never stop learning, myself included. We're going to never stop learning about the quarry that we pursue, we hunt. Never stop learning about deer, bear, black, moose and stuff, and all the things, critters we love to hunt. So yeah, I just lost my train of thought. I wish I could bleep that out, edit that. That's the thing about these live streams, man. They're uncut. Hey, I like my new Apple Watch. My wife bought me this Apple Watch for Father's Day. What a sweet wife. I actually always wanted one to go with my iPhone. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent here. I was talking about my videos to come on the channel, Spikes and Gills. So if black bear is something you're interested in, black bear hunting and black bear, learning about black bear is something you're interested in, and obviously if you love deer hunting and hunting moose and learning about those topics, and you love ice fishing and fly fishing, learning about them topics, learning about fish and all that stuff, then this channel is definitely for you. Obviously, the name Spikes and Gills obviously implies that spikes, meaning spike buck, spike bull, moose, spike, the cool name that's implying your deer, your hooved mammals, your spike buck, spike bulls, things like that, your pronghorn antelopes, whatever, your spiked mule deer. Spike and gills obviously means fish. So this channel is about wildlife hunting, the hunting animals, the wild game, hunting them, and it's about fishing. So if this is stuff you're interested in, and if you're interested in product reviews about fishing products and about hunting products and stuff that I firmly believe in, that I use year in and year out, I do my product reviews on equipment and gear that I've been using for the last year or longer, and that I have had success with and in using, and I actually believe in. I want to do reviews on them products, and those videos perform very well on my channel. And I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by any of these companies that put these products out. I buy products with my hard-earned money, and I review them in the wild, in their fishing and hunting, and I share what I know about them products and share my experiences in using those products with you, the viewer, on my YouTube channel. And all I'm getting out of it is any ad revenue. I just earn revenue from my actual video on those products. I'm reviewing that product. That's all I'm getting from them. I'm not sponsored or paid by any of these companies doing that. So, but if this is all stuff that you're interested in, and you definitely want to subscribe to Spikes and Gills, click the notification bell so you'll be notified of all future uploads, so you don't miss the next episode by Spikes and Gill. And yeah, I'd greatly appreciate if you hit like on this live stream before you go. It greatly means a lot. And all my videos on the Spikes and Gills channel, if you're watching them, definitely click like. Please drop some comments. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps a great deal to helps the algorithm push and boost the videos out further to other audiences to get more views and get more likes and comments. I want to hear from my viewers anyway, interact with you. And that's my goal with these live streams and my videos to come down the road, to learn from my viewers, and we can like do this together. I want to hunt with you. I want to fish with you. I want to learn from you, the viewer, and I'm hoping that I can teach you a thing or two. If I end this live stream having taught you one thing, then I've done my job in this 20 minutes of rambling. It's getting dark now, so it's a good time to end the live stream. Maybe move to where I have more light. This live stream was about black bear, so I might end with one more cool fact about black bears. Let's think of a good one. What's really neat is the black bear biologist Randy Cross, who researched and studied black bears for 30 plus years. I'm going to share this fact with you now about black bears, but it's late in the live stream, might not get viewed by a lot of the viewers. So I may share it again in future videos and in future live streams. But Randy Cross had been studying black bears for eons, like I said, 30 years. A bear that him and his colleagues have been studying and researching and following for 15 years. The sow, and it was a sow, female, this female black bear died at 15 years old, and they don't know if the bear died from a baited hunt, a hound hunt, or died from natural causes, or they're not sure how she died, but she just fell off the face of the earth. I think they lost radio telemetry of her. That I don't think they ever, because they don't know how she died, so that means they never found her at the time that they lost all contact with her, whether in the way of like radio collar and stuff. And by the way, too, those radio collars, they don't choke the animal at all. They have these pressure release buttons and stuff, so that if the animal were to gain tons of weight, or as the animal grows, gets older and bigger, these little pressure points inside the collar it's made to release the collar and drop the collar off in the event that it is choking the animal. So it's very humane and safe for the bear. And obviously that collar might not stop working when it falls off. So that with radio telemetry and stuff, the biologist can hone right in on where that bear dropped the collar, retrieve the collar, and get all the data off that collar. And it didn't harm and kill the bear. So I didn't know if you knew that. That's a fact. Cool fact about research in black bear with a way of radio collars. But I think the bear, they did find the collar of the bear. I think that a similar thing happened. The bear died, but I don't think, it might not even been collared anymore, being old, a 15-year-old bear. But she was tattooed and might have had ear tag and stuff. But her progeny, her offspring, all of her cubs that she had, Randy Cross and his colleagues have been following the cubs and the offspring from them cubs, and the prodigy of that 15-year-old bear, that sow, that died from whatever cause. The prodigy after her offspring and stuff, and all of the bear to come after her, are the longest living bear in the state of Maine that these Maine black bear biologists are studying and researching. They all the prodigy from this sow, 15-year-old sow, and the offspring from her cubs that she had before death, they all are the longest living black bears recorded in the state of Maine. And what's believed, Randy Cross tried to explain why this may be true. And I don't know if you know this, but the state of Maine, the way we manage the population of black bear is through trapping, snaring, and bait, and hunting them with hounds. Actually, we can kill black bear all three ways: with hound hunting, over bait, and snaring, and it's all working great. It's not harming the population in such a way that it's not sustainable and still growing and being healthy. That the black bear population is thriving, healthy, and where it's all a conservation tactic that from the Maine Department of Inland Fish and Wildlife, that we have so many tags that we can fill, and it's just been proven time and time again that all these methods of take of the black bear, of killing the black bear, has been perfect to manage that carrying capacity in the wild of the bear, and that's not, they're thriving. There's still 1 or 2 or more bear per square mile in the state of Maine, and so I'm getting sidetracked a little bit, but Randy Cross and his colleagues, they believe that why the prodigy of the sow lived the longest is that when she was a cub or young, she may have had a very bad experience at a bait site, because that's the Maine's way, the number one way of killing black bear, of being able to hunt black bear in the state of Maine, is with baits. There's bait sites everywhere, and strewed about all over the state of Maine, black bear bait sites. So a lot of bear do get killed. A good large number of bear do get killed, and by the way of baiting. But it's believed by these biologists that this sow, at a young age, had a very bad experience at a bait site. A very bad, scary experience, and it stuck with her, and it imprinted in her mind. And she learned at a very early, young age to always avoid bait sites and avoid human disturbance and human presence and bait at all costs. And all the cubs after her that she had throughout her 15 years of life, she taught that very same thing to her cubs. When they'd smell those baits and the cubs wanting to run in to eat, the sow would obviously stop them, and she would show them and teach them. And she may even probably paced off in the distance and somehow showed the cubs that it was a human there in the tree. Who knows? But she just taught her offspring, and all the years to come, and taught all of her cubs that she ever had, to avoid bait sites at all costs. That's the belief that Randy Cross had as to why her prodigy, all the bear to come after her, to proceed to go to live on after her death, it's believed by Randy Cross that they all have been taught to avoid bait sites at all costs. How neat is that? I rambled, man. I went on forever about that, talking about that. Now, I'm going to mention this same story again in future videos, but hopefully a more abridged version, less rambling and straying, going off on a tangent. But isn't that really cool, neat kind of fact, story, if you will, whatever, or cool? That's just really neat, cool research by a black bear biologist. I really got to end this podcast. So, hey, smash like for me, could you? Smash the like button for me, could you, before you go? Definitely subscribe to Spikes and Gills. If you haven't already, click the notification bell before you go, so you'll be notified of all future episodes uploaded on the Spikes and Gills YouTube channel. See, it says, William, have you ever used beaver caster on a bait? If you're still watching, William, thank you for chiming in. Beaver caster, I have not. Wait, I stand corrected. I may have bought some artificial scented smelling stuff that was close to beaver caster that you could buy over the counter in stores and stuff. I never had success with that. I have been asking trappers. I've never trapped. I took a trapping course in college as an elective for extra credits, and got my trapper certificate in the state of Maine in college. So I can go and buy my trapper's license and trap eventually. And I could trap beaver and get beaver carcasses and beaver caster if I so choose, and I hope to eventually. But no, I have not, and I've been asking local trappers, and I've messaged people on Facebook about this sort of thing, asking for beaver carcasses, and I have yet to have success in getting my hands on any beaver. But wait, get your mind out of the gutter. So anyways, I do know that beaver caster and beaver carcasses are a dynamite bait attractant choice for black bear. baiting black bear. See, Dylan said hi. Hey, Dylan. Dylan, do you hunt black bear? Are you baiting black bear this year? Hopefully. I hope you want to learn about black bear as much as I do. Let's learn together. I'm going to keep doing my research, following podcasts, reading on these things, and I'm going to keep baiting them, hunting black bear. And it's really dark. Wonder if I can. There we go. See, I knew I'd get light here. I got a motion sensor light right here. That's going to help you see me. I've had some really neat encounters with black bears. Just this year alone, I want to save some of these stories for future live streams and future videos down the road. But just this year alone, I was driving up on the Blueberry Barrens in Maine, and I come up upon a black bear at the beehives in the blueberry field. So I just recently, just in like a month and a half ago, saw a nice black bear running across the blueberry field back into the swampy wetland forest. And I've had a very nice black bear sauntering, just nonchalantly, not running really fast, just going across the blueberry fields out in front of my sprayer. I was in the John Deere sprayer. I was spraying the blueberry ground for the upcoming blueberry harvest, and I had black bear cross out in front of my sprayer. I've gone out. I used to do GIS, or geographic integrating systems work, mapping, running the GIS system mapping software and programs and stuff. I used to do that for the company I work for. And I've been out with a GPS and property line, or tracking and mapping property lines, property corners and stuff for the company I work for. And I've stumbled upon sleeping black bear, like on the other side of a blowdown or a log. I was getting ready to like step onto a blow down with other entanglement and stuff around it. And out pop a sleeping black bear that I almost stepped on, for crying out loud. I've had that happen twice to me. Those are cool black bear experiences. So see, it's extremely possible to hunt black bear without bait in the way of dogs and snaring. I'm going to go over that in future episodes on my channel on how to go about finding prime bear country and how to go about locating and finding black bear in general wherever you go to hunt them and pursue them. And I'm going to talk about some tactics on how to hunt them without the way of bait and hounds and snaring, because there are a lot of folks out there that don't want to hunt black bear that way, in those three ways. Some just have mixed feelings and emotions about hunting black bear that way. But I'm going to be touching on all those topics in future videos. So William saw a bear in a big cut last weekend. Oh man, that's awesome. Where are you from, William? Where's William from? Oh, thanks. Said hi. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome, William. So I'm planning on doing these live streams every Monday night. And the next series of live streams are going to be all about black bear and black bear hunting, William. So you might want to, if you could, William, share this with all your friends and buddies that also pursue the black bear or want to learn about black bears. I greatly appreciate it. And all of you other folks who got King George and Dylan, if all of you could tell all your buddies, your friends about these live streams every Monday with Justin about going over to black bear. Everything to do with black bears. Oh. See, we're still. I don't know if William's still there or not. But if you are, that's cool that you saw a black bear and a big cut. I don't know if you hunt black bear, William, but that's what I asked. Do you hunt black bears, William? Let's see. Saw the bear in Eustis. Okay, so you're in bear and moose country. So me and my pals, Jason, Josh, Skip, Steve, and Mark, for several years, we went to bear camp out in the Eustis Stratton area, William. That's where we were doing our annual grouped deer hunt. And now actually all these buddies of mine that I named, they come to my neck of the woods for the annual deer hunt every year in November. I get to bow hunt. I get to bow hunt for my trophy buck before they show up. Hopefully I try to hope to tag out on deer before we all get together for these annual deer hunts, so I could solely just be a cameraman, film for them and film a lot of the hunting. But that's cool. You're from the Eustis area. Yeah, real big bear country out that way. Yeah, seen lots of deer this year. Oh, that's good. Good to know. Oh man, these winters constantly being mild year after year after year is really helping the deer and moose and other animal populations for that matter to grow. As these winters get milder and the snow depths are less and less each year, it's making it harder for coyotes and bobcat to chase down and kill a lot of deer now with the less snow. Your lighter weight predators can run on crusted snow, whereas deer sink in deep snow and are easy to catch by the neck and stuff. So yeah, the deer are thriving. Many velvet bucks. Oh, that's awesome. A lot of bucks too. Kudos to you. Yeah, to be living in that deer hunting in that area, to have a good deer population thriving and growing is really, really good. I hope you get a good one this year, William. Have you seen any blackbirds yet? So all right, I think Dylan's going to teach me something about blackbirds. It's funny you ask that, Dylan, because I'm at my front door, by the way, of my house, and I came out this morning to go to the truck, head to work to get into Little Girl. Little Girl is the name of my John Deere sprayer for the company I work for, the blueberry company I work for. She missed me a lot. I broke her boom. I broke her anyway last week, but she's so fixed. I had to recalibrate her booms and recalibrate her good. She ran good for me today, and she missed me. But I was getting ready to go to Little Girl, and come out of my house, and there were blackbirds in the trees right over here. All kinds of like grackles and starlings. The red-winged blackbirds are heavy down here in the near the wetland over here, and there was a bunch of blackbirds over this way. There's the European starlings, the grackles, the red-winged blackbirds, all them black-type birds there. They're very prevalent around here. So what was it you wanted to touch on, Dylan? What did you have to teach us about blackbirds? What do they mean to you, Dylan? Ready to go? Oh yeah, William, I definitely am. I take it you're baiting black bear too, William. I wish you the best of luck this year. I hope you shoot a big one. What's the biggest black bear you ever shot, William? I shot a really nice one last year, that field dress, 240 pounds, nice boar. I cannot wait to do the 3/4 mount. I do my own taxidermy, and I can't wait to get him tanned up and thin his leather down, and test fit him on a mannequin. I'm gonna have him on a floor type base table type mount with like fake ferns and trees. I want him stepping forward with one arm up, showing the front claws with his mouth slightly open and a slight turn to him. I'm going to do that for a mount on the bear I shot last year. But yes, I am ready to start pre-baiting. Can't wait to get after it. If you're still on here, William, what? So 400-pound, 18+ inch skull. Good for you, buddy. Yeah! William's the man. That's a good bear, buddy. Congratulations. So William, I'm waiting on Dylan to share more about blackbirds. Yeah, that's a interesting question. I'm gonna sneeze. So Dylan asks, have you seen any blackbirds yet? All right. Short answer, yes. But I went on a tangent about the type of blackbirds I saw this morning. There was some like grackles over here, and then my wife sent me a picture of a whole group of blackbirds that could have been European starlings or something over here in the near my apple tree. She sent a picture of that to me this morning while I was out in the sprayer. No, we might not hear from Dylan again. It could be that this is running a little slow. Well, I'm on my internet. So. Anyways, oh man, I've been going on for 40 minutes in this live stream. I like to usually keep my live streams around 20 minutes so the viewer don't get too bored of me. And so if some of you are chiming in now, coming in a little late here in this live stream, when I end it, when it's officially uploaded on my Spikes and Gills YouTube channel, you might want to watch it from the beginning. I share some really cool facts about black bear and go on sharing some really cool stories that I learned from biologists on the Clay Newcomb's podcast, the Bear Hunting Magazine podcast, sharing some really cool stuff about black bear. So you might want to watch this live stream from the beginning when you do depart, so you can learn of those stories that I shared and learn of those facts and stuff about black bear. So next Monday's night's live stream will be all again about black bears and cool facts about black bear. And then I see Dylan says, I'm from Spain and it's usually to see blackbirds in streets. Hey, that's really cool that Dylan chimed in from Spain. He just must have thought this topic to be really interesting to him about black bear. So I don't suppose there's black bears roaming the streets in Spain, is there, Dylan? That's why he brought up blackbirds. So your form of black bear, what is a black bird? That's just black. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, anyways, I've got to go scoop the cat boxes. Yeah, me and my family, we have 5 cats. Isn't that funny? I'm a big hunter, and I'm a cat lover too. Well, cats, man, they have really cool, awesome personalities. They're really funny. We have a coon cat that was 34 pounds when we got him. I rescued him. He was going to a shelter, but I was like, I rescued the cat, brought him home. 34-pound Maine Coon cat. But he lost a ton of weight. He's barely 18, 19 pounds because he got autoimmune disease. We've been treating him with medicine for his autoimmune disease, and he's been getting better. The sores have been healing up on his lip and stuff. And so I've got to now go and scoop the cat boxes. And I firmly believe clean cat box, clean cat, clean house, happy wife, happy life. So I've got to go do my chores. Randy is the bear guru. Oh, Randy is the bear guru. Yeah. Yeah. I figured since you were from the Houston, I figured you knew exactly who I was referring to. Randy Cross. I've actually had an on-the-phone interview. I did the on-the-phone interview with Randy Cross to write articles for the Northwood Sporting Journal. I used to write. You might know this, William, actually. You may have read my articles in the Northwood Sporting Journal. I wrote for them for like 10 years. I wrote for the Maine Sportsman magazine too. But not Maine Sportsman, sorry, just the Sportsman magazine. That was published out of Vermont, but they went out of business, and I moved on to the Northwood Sporting Journal. And I've had spoken with Randy Cross. I met him in person as well back in college when I went out to bear dens. I've gone to bear dens with biologists, Randy Cross and his colleagues, to where they darted the bear just to tranquilize them, to make them immobile, so they could take their bone marrow samples, blood samples, weigh them, tattoo the inner lips or inner cheeks, and put ear tags on some and radio collars on others and stuff. And so yeah, Randy Cross he's the bear guru, all right. And so yeah, it was great to have spoken with him, met him in person, and learned from him, his other colleagues. And then there's a guy, Galen Rulin. This guy by the name of Galen Rulin. He's a registered Maine guide. He did guided bear hunts for eons. He's been best buddies with Randy Cross. I've also interviewed him and got to meet this Galen Rulin. got to go with Galen Rulin on live trap, when he's live trapped bears and live snared bears, to relocate, to move the bear 30, 40 miles away from the beehives where they were being a nuisance. Galen Rulin trapped nuisance bear, whereas the company I work for could legally shoot and dispatch bear that are damaging beehives and being a nuisance on their farm. But this companies there, they firmly believe in wildlife conservation and just they knew better than to just shoot every single nuisance bear. Well, that would be ridiculous. So they hired Galen Rulin to live trap and culvert traps these nuisance bears, and then he'd drive them 30 to 40 miles away from the site. But the older, mature bear always came back to home. Like, no one wants to be relocated from their home of 10, 20, 15, 20 years or whatever. So the older, mature bears that were dead set, established, in their home range, they would eventually come back. But the younger bear nuisance bear that they live trapped and relocated, they'd stay away because they were young and subordinate and yearlings, and it's in their nature to go about finding where they belong in life and establish their own home range. Anyway, but I'm just rambling on all kinds of cool things about black bear facts and things and stories on black bear, but I should end this. So it would be cool to go along when they call her a winter bear. Yeah, it would. It sure would, William. Yeah, the collar and I've had cubs in my arms. I've got to hold cubs at these den sites and stuff, and I weighed the sow too. One of the sows that we went to, she had 4. The biologists actually were shocked to find that all 4 cubs were still alive on this particular sow that they went to go see. The sow was radio called. They could radio telemetry their way in right to her den site and tranquilize her and catch all the cubs and stuff and do their sampling and all that studies. And the biologists were ecstatic, just besides themselves. They were happy to see that all 4 cubs were still alive, because they said before heading out to the den that the sow was very small. The sow only weighed live weight 100 pounds, and so that they were worried that the cubs may have been somewhat malnourished slightly, and they were super tiny cubs. And that particular winter was pretty harsh, so they were expecting to maybe find 2 of the 4 still alive, but were shocked and relieved to find that all 4 were still living. And they actually said at that time that they tranquilized her and went to the den to do their sampling and stuff, study them, that if those cubs went on to live the next 2 months or so, if they were able to make it to springtime, the snows started melting, the days got warmer, and food was starting to become available, that they would most likely go on to live a full life unless eventually killed at a bait site or whatever have you, because obviously the black bear in Maine don't have any natural predators. We're their predator. Shh. I'm the predator of the black bear. You are too, William. Saw on bait last year. Saw a few sows. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, I love it. I like to actually have a sow or 2 come along, and maybe 1 with a few cubs. So I love to watch and observe bear for a few hours before the target bear I'm after eventually saunters on into the bait. I love to get tons of pictures and video and B-roll shots and stuff of the bear. I like to learn from them and observing their behavior and stuff, and hearing the sounds, the peculiar sounds and stuff that sows make. I mean, when the sows and cubs can be quite vocal with one another too. So when a bait hunter someone hunting over bait, gets to observe that, see that, they a lot of times can learn about the vocalizations that bears may have with one another. That's cool. And then obviously the competition over the food source too. There could be a lot. There could be boar fights or boars fighting with sows and stuff at bait sites, and that could be a really cool experience to have and witness too. You can learn a lot from bait hunting bear, and obviously you can be extremely selective and just hold out and wait on for that big trophy one to show up. So I mean, baiting black bear is extremely ethical and many. I'm going to talk more about that in another live stream in future videos. And I'm going to keep doing my research on all these topics that I'm going to talk about, so I'm not just rambling about hogwash about nothing and nonsense. I'm going to do my thorough research first before I go live again. So watching them when they don't know you is pretty cool. Yeah, sure is, William. Hey, William, you've been a great sport, buddy. Primal Code, 20 gauge or 12 gauge? That you... Huh. How'd you know? How'd you know, Primal Code, that I shot last year's bear with a 12 gauge shotgun with a slug? My bear that I shot last year is the first black bear I ever shot with a firearm. All the bear prior have been shot with my bow and arrow. And I think last year's bear marked 11th or 12th bear or 8th. I've been hunting black bear for 15 years, maybe about 15 years, because I think I'm at like 11 bear that I've got to my name, that I've got under my belt. I've shot all the bear with a bow and arrow. I even shot one in Canada on a Canada bear hunt. Shot that one with my bow. But last year marked the first year I ever killed a black bear with a firearm, and it was with my 12 gauge pump shotgun with a slug. And believe it or not, you could see the wall. I told my buddies where the bear was standing, and this was my first year I had a shotgun, and I actually missed a bear with a shotgun the first year, and then I screwed up with my bow on another year on a bear, so I potentially could have like 13, 14 bear in the 15 or 16 years or so that I've been hunting black bear. I could have like 13 or 14 bear to my name, because there's a couple of years where I got skunked, where the bait sites, I've had 3 or 4 bait sites before, and this has only happened in like 2 years in all the years I've hunted black bear and baited black bear, where I've had a handful of bait sites just go stone cold. And it's said time and time again by biologists and experienced bear hunters out there that it's because there was tons and tons of natural foods for the bear to make them feel full and not put them in harm's way. And I don't know if you know this, but black bear do feel some sort of anxiety and stress when going into bait sites. When there's always human scent and human presence, or humans not far away from bait sites. And bear know that. They can come in having a little bit of anxiety and feeling a little stressed and uneasy, and come in, pussy toe footing along, just being very cautious. And that can increase their stress and anxiety. So why would, if a bear can safely, comfortably find plenty of food in the wild and they're normal in their home, why would they put themselves in harm's way at a bait site, right? So, and those are the years where I've gotten skunked with baiting bear. So it's not a slam dunk, that's for sure, baiting black bear. Okay, 20, so North Georgia mountains here. So Primal Code's from North Georgia mountains. Nice to meet you, Primal Code. Thanks for the tips. So he must, okay, so I don't know if you started watching this from the beginning. I'm pretty sure with these live streams you can scroll back and forth from beginning to middle while I'm continuing this live stream. This is the longest I've ever gone on a live stream before, 54 minutes. That's because I'm getting some interaction, and I'm finally getting the hang of it and answering people's questions and conversing back and forth. So I got to go do my honeydew list. As I mentioned to William earlier, I've got to go scoop the cat boxes. Clean cat boxes, clean cats, clean house, happy wife, happy life. All right, everybody. I hope you're here with me for next Monday's live stream. And the next episode uploaded on the Spike Skills YouTube channel this Thursday night is going to be about black bear and black bear hunting. It's going to be something really cool about black bears. So I'm planning on continuing this series of videos all about black bear and black bear hunting and really cool stories and tips and actual current events about black bear and current research going on about black bear and stuff. That's all to come in the future videos on Spikes and Gills. So definitely smash that like button before you go, everybody. Click subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I greatly appreciate it. So Dylan and William and Primal Code, and let me scroll up here. William, and then King George, all of you. Definitely chime in next Monday so we can chat, talk some more. Very nice interaction. Oh yeah, no problem. You're welcome, Primal Code. I want to see you again next Monday night to talk black bear. All right, everybody.